Welcome back to Strange Form. Today is part 1 of my 3-part Flash Batman series. That is not to say that I will be encouraging you to expose yourself to Batman, but rather we will be looking at both Spin Master and McFarlane's action figure and vehicle entries, especially as they relate to the new DC Warner Brothers film, The Flash, coming to theaters June 16th. Though I'm not quite certain what I feel about this film yet, I do know that a reinvigorated interest in Michael Keaton's Batman may hopefully be getting us that much closer to a Batman Beyond film, though we have a lot of merchandise to get through. Today we will be concentrating on the Spin Master and McFarlane 1989 Batmobile. First up, McFarlane Toys 1/12 scale Batmobile. The first thing that surprised me about this is how incredibly light the box is. It doesn't weigh that much more than the Spin Master's version, and can easily be lifted with one hand. This is a far cry from the heft of the gold label Batwing box, but I will get into that next episode. But let's stop dilly-dallying around and get to this, shall we? The Batmobile is packaged about how you would expect a $60 Batmobile to be. No bells or whistles, just the vehicle in a large plastic bag with some cardboard supports, and the 2 rear fins in separate baggies. As many of you know, these are incredibly hard to find right now, though my gut tells me that by Christmas, you will probably be able to build a small fort out of the overstock. That being said, when I asked McFarlane customer service about availability, they gave me a rather cryptic, canned response, stating, "Our marketing team is still deciding on what the future of the Batwings and Batmobiles will look like." I would think that McFarlane would ride this gravy train right into the ground, eventually getting the license to produce 89 Batman merchandise, but this probably all hinges on how well the Flash does. McFarlane has definitely been stuck with a few landfill properties recently. For how light the vehicle is, it definitely doesn't feel as breakable as I expected. The details are relatively sharp, and the fit and finish is within fairly tight tolerances, i.e. I'm not seeing a lot of giant seams. However, I hate the canopy, almost to the point of distraction. From the off-gray color, to which McFarlane's reply was simply, "We meant to do that," which immediately brings to mind that meme, "I was only pretending." And the issue here is that said canopy is cartoonishly tall. In fact, the lines on the Spin Master vehicle are decidedly more accurate, and I'm going to say it now, the first person to market with a film-accurate replacement canopy is going to make a fortune. As a matter of fact, just looking at it, you can tell that the footprint is correct, it just doesn't have the proper slope and sort of mean profile. Other than that, and of course the cockpit, everything is where it should be. And other than the wheels and the canopy, there are no other moving parts. Unfortunately, no pop-up machine guns, and I know Warner Bros. Has a no guns on their toys marketed to children policy, but I believe McFarlane got around this with the Batwing having the accurate forward-facing machine guns by making it a gold label exclusive, and thus an adult collectible. So who knows? Maybe we will see a special edition down the line. And I understand that this is supposed to be a toy, but they were so close to the mark that it is really frustrating to see such an easily rectified design issue go out to the public this way. And the higher canopy doesn't even affect the larger Batman figure's fit, as that figure would indeed fit with a film-accurate canopy just the same, as the area that needs to accommodate his ears is towards the back. I just have no idea why they decided to do this. But with that rant over, I would like to give a shout out to a YouTuber who is doing something about it. Ibrahim Mustafa over at Ibrahim M is doing some of the best rehauls of this vehicle I have seen on the net, and giving a step-by-step account on how to do it yourself. Here you can see that there's a bat symbol on the bottom, and I think this is supposed to indicate the hydraulic boot that comes down to spin the Batmobile where it can't do a 3-point turn. And of course, we have the cockpit, which is a single-seater, and where we run into a sort of interesting lie about this vehicle. It's not properly in scale with McFarlane's 7-inch figure. To get around this, they made the cockpit a larger single-seater to fit their Batman, but in reality, everything but the cockpit is in perfect scale with Mezco's 6-inch figure. And now I will share something that made me realize why this Batmobile's proportions put me off so much. And now it's just something I can't unsee. And if you own one, you may want to look away. That's right, this Batmobile is securing justice for the citizens of Radiator Springs. Yes, as sleek and awesome as everything else is, those are just about the happiest looking windshields I have ever seen. Like I said before, Mezco's 89 Batman is in perfect scale with McFarlane's car body, though he may look like a little child in the single-seat cockpit. However, standing outside of the vehicle, he doesn't look any different in scale to the Michael Keaton press photos. So this is definitely an incredible diorama piece that only adds $60 to your Mezco purchase. That's still cheaper than getting their Ghost Rider and motorcycle. As for the interior, it's nothing much to write home about. Some molded plastic details, and some clean but very generic silver paint. To be film accurate, this should have 2 seats with a gearbox console between the two, and of course the steering wheel on the left side. But my price to value verdict is that this is still a steal and a toy modifier's playground. But now that we have looked at McFarlane's offering, let's compare it to Spin Master's Batmobile, Batman, and Young Barry Walmart exclusive. I should start off by saying that this one isn't for me. My 3-year-old absolutely loves all the Spin Master Batman stuff, and as a parent, I think the highest review that I can give a children's toy is that these are incredibly well built. Never mind supervillains, if a toy can stand up to the sheer destructive tidal forces of a 3-year-old's day-to-day fits, machinations, and imaginative, albeit destructive urges, it can stand up to anything. And already Robert Pattinson's Spin Master Batmobile has been through much more than the Penguin could ever throw at him. Because every scalper out there heard that the Batmobile was popular, this one was also not terribly easy to find. Though now that things have cooled off, I have seen several at some of the nicer Walmarts. And yes, this is something that collectors are uniquely aware of. There is unfortunately a gradient of Walmart store class. The nicer ones rotating stock more often. The first thing I noticed, even on the store shelves, is that these are smaller than their previous 4-inch offerings. This is seconded by my 3-year-old son, who referred to them as the tiny Batmans, which is a shame, because it would be nice for him to have an '89 Batmobile in scale with the other Batmobiles. But for $20, it's a durable and portable toy that actually has a more film-accurate silhouette than McFarlane's version. Why the smaller size? I get the feeling that the sheer volume of Pattinson Batman still filling the shelves is probably the reason. So here we get a slightly scaled back version. But again, at $20, it's a durable and portable toy. I get the feeling that this is the same mold that they will be using for their $200 RC car. But if it is, I certainly hope that for $200 they are using a plastic that holds finer detail. The overall look of this thing is nice, but on close inspection, it is definitely a toy, and a lot of the fine lines are mushy and soft. This is definitely not a replacement for McFarlane's version, just as the McFarlane version is not a replacement or analog for the Hot Toys offering. I do not understand the eBay markup or those willing to pay it, and can only chalk it up to the gotta have everything collectors. But if you have small children, and they are envious of your '89 Batmobile, this is the perfect child-friendly substitute. And let's face it, we collectors all fill our children's toy boxes with the toys that we want to play with, but not necessarily own for our collection. So to all the children putting up with us playing with their toys more than they do, I would like to extend an apology and say thank you. So in the end, Spin Master has put out another well-built, fairly film-accurate children's toy. And though it's not as large as I would like, it's hard to find fault with a $20 toy. So what do you think? Can you forgive the canopy? What's your favorite toy that you've bought for your children? Let me know in the comments section. Now, in the next episode, we will be looking at both Spin Master's 2 Batwing offerings as well as McFarlane's giant gold label version. Should you pick one up over the other? Does size matter? And has McFarlane lost his mind with that price? I have many thoughts. If you enjoyed this content, don't hesitate to share, like, and subscribe. And as always, remember, never stop collecting.